KC Energy in this preseason match. Welcome everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Check, 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 check.
Can you
Check,
hear me,
check.
Mike? Can you hear
No,
me?
I don't hear you on the headset.
Nope. I can't hear Mike either.
Check, 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 check.
Okay.
Check, check, check.
Okay, fine. As long as I
Check,
can hear Mike
check.
from here from the side, that should
Check,
be good.
check, check, check.
All right, let me just close. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the next Your OKC Energy FC is coached by Jimmy Nielsen, Chris Spindler, James Ritchie, and Mark Howard. Tonight's ambassadors are the Misfits and the Canadian Valley Soccer Club. Tonight's game ball assistants. Soccer Club. Ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for your OKC Energy FC.
To Taft Stadium in Oklahoma City as FC Dallas coming to town. First MLS team to be able to come into the city of Oklahoma City to be facing none other than Energy FC, as both teams, of course, getting ready for their respective seasons. FC Dallas getting started. Of course, they start with Philadelphia Union in just a couple of days, but for OKC Energy, it's a good opportunity for them to really start building and really start creating an identity, and more important, start gelling for the upcoming season. I'm Juan Arango alongside Michael Lopez. How you doing, Mike? And again, what are the big keys to start looking preseason-wise, especially at this stage of the preseason for both FC Dallas as well as Energy? I mean, you really have to start analyzing what needs to be done at these particular stages of preseason, right?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Absolutely. You want to get a rhythm. You want to get your squads as in the best form possible, not only physically but also, like you said, you want to get some rhythm going into those season openers. And both teams actually with a few games, preseason games under their belt, and you know, as the season opener gets a little closer, coaches want to see what players they want to keep on their squad, what their starting lineup is going to look like, what their formation is going to look like, if they want to play more defensive, they want to play more offensive, and what these games are for.
Obviously, as we see a lot of pomp, a lot of festivities going on. Obviously, the excitement of not only just FC Dallas coming to town, as we mentioned before, but also the partnership that these two organizations have created between MLS and USL. It's going to be one of the more important things to start seeing in the creation of this nexus between these two teams, between these two leagues, as we see the game ball being presented in a very, I guess you can say, elegant manner.
It's quite the entrance for a game ball.
Oh, absolutely.
In a helicopter.
Well, hey, it's all good, but here as we see the starting lineups here as Larendi in goal for Energy. It'll be Thomas, Hedrick, Andrews, and Ryden in the back. Evans, Frimpong alongside Gareth Evans, Biscoff, and Dalgard in the middle. Casey Townsend alongside Danny Koenig. They'll will be the starting 11 for Jimmy Nielsen as he's getting ready to start his third season in charge of this Oklahoma City side. Meanwhile, for FC Dallas, a lot of changes. Mike, tell me a little bit more about it.
Absolutely, a lot of changes from their last game. They'll have Chris Seitz on goal, Hada, Zimmerman, Lloyd, Atiba Harris, the back line, Victor Ulloa, Juan Ortiz, Timo Pitter, the rookie, Mauro Rosales, the experienced Argentine, that's the middle, and up front they'll have Colin Bonner and Teisho Akindele.
As you mentioned, two players specifically in Bonner and Hada. It'll be a good opportunity for them to really show off what they have as far as talent, as far as what they can contribute to this FC Dallas side, looking to get a little bit deeper than they did last year. One of the better teams, one of the best teams in the Western Conference last year in MLS, looking to do just a little bit more with some key additions, and you're going to see a team with a lot more speed. Yeah, some pieces of the puzzle are no longer there, case in point Blas Perez, but they do have a player in Maxi Urruti that will be very important to really continue that attacking prowess that FC Dallas really has been able to show under Oscar Pareja. So it'll be a very important addition, and his play, his momentum, his ability to move off the ball will be key to really open a lot of spaces for his teammates. As of course, it's expected to be a full house tonight, over 6,500 fans in attendance at Taft Stadium, or that's at least what they're expecting come kickoff. But very excited group of fans, a lot of festivities going on, not just on the pitch as you see right there, but outside of it, lots of tailgating, lots of great environment that's been going on as this team has gotten a great deal of support. And you see right there the commemorative scarves that have been created there for this momentous occasion for the OKC Energy fans.
Yeah, and you got to think that their inaugural season was 2014, and this is just their third season. And this type of alliance or allegiance, if you will, with FC Dallas is also very important because it gives them some exposure to the pro level, and as well as perhaps interchanging players. You know, when you're 2-3 seasons into a franchise, I mean, you really need the support from the fans, and also, you know, a good solid base of players to look forward to the season, to use during the season. As for FC Dallas, these tune-ups are also important. Looking down the year or down the season, they're also going to be playing in CONCACAF Champions League. So what the coach needs to find, Oscar Pareja, is depth. You need a big rotation, perhaps a larger squad, or more talent if you can't get the numbers on the squad to really help you out in a season where you're going to be having a full Major League Soccer season as well as international competition.
Exactly, as you were mentioning, Mike, because it'll be a very interesting part of the season, especially when you start getting into June, July, August. You start really getting into that stretch when CONCACAF Champions League resumes into the next season. Kind of weird as far as the calendar is concerned, but for the 2016-2017 edition of that tournament, you do need to have a great deal of depth, as you mentioned before, having a great deal of rotation, especially in the dog days of summer, that late portion of the season where the season does tend to drag for some players, injuries and accumulation of other factors, travel and whatnot, really start getting very taxing on a lot of bodies. You really have to start implementing some sense of rotation as far as that's concerned. And I think that was a very good point that you mentioned there, Mike. As teams already on the pitch getting ready for the national anthems, we will step aside for that particular part of the pre-match protocol.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and put your caps for the singing of God Bless America, performed this evening by the Cheyenne Middle School Choir.
So with the national anthem out of the way now, we're going to get, well, at least the last part of the pre-match protocol. Mike, again, as we were talking before, two squads that are in different phases of their preseason. Of course, for Energy, they still have a couple more weeks left, about a couple of days more for FC Dallas before they begin their MLS campaign. But again, you start seeing Oscar Pareja really starting to implement a rotation. Only 3 players from when they played Alianza FC getting to start today. In the case of Zach Lloyd Atiba Harris and Victor Ulloa, those 3 getting the start today. So it'll be very important to see what goes on in regards to this particular match and how the other players involved start really establishing a rotation. And you mentioned before, you talk about the identity that needs to be established, the style that needs to be implemented, and you do have these opportunities to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the rotation is concerned, there's also a backbone that I'm pretty sure he's aware of. And again, it's about that rotation, but it's also about building from last season and their performance. I mean, reaching the conference finals of the Western Conference Finals, where they were defeated by the Portland Timbers. But it's a big step, and they could use that to obviously continue to build this season. It looks like
all the
pre-game
pre-match
ceremonies.
Yeah, exactly. It's all ready to go as Evan Springpalm comes out and gives the referee the official game ball. So we'll see what goes on here as both FC Dallas and OKC getting ready. Cody Lorendi warming up just moments away before kickoff as all the OKC players still warming up, still doing their pre-match, just trying to stay, keeping that blood flowing, keeping the muscles loose prior to this matchup. Again, a matchup that a lot of anticipation as far as this team's concerned. Cody Andrews right there being able to be a little bit more communicative, showing a little bit of support there as far as his teammates are concerned. But again, for Jimmy Nielsen, we talked about FC Dallas now, but for Jimmy Nielsen, obviously you have some new players. You do have some new faces coming in. But more importantly, Mike, it's, again, being able to get back in shape, still have a few more weeks left until the beginning of the season. So we're ready to go here in Oklahoma City as FC Dallas in the all-red, going from right to left on your screen. Again, I'm Juan Arango alongside Mike Lopez. Glad to have you on board for this preseason match between USL and MLS sides. As it's immediately Jara being the one with the throw-in here on the left side of the pitch, on the near side, I should say. One of the trialists that's looking to find a spot, Agustin Jara, with the cross into the middle, as it's Springpalm there being able to clear it out. FC Dallas going to try and keep the ball there. Good pass by Rosales going out wide. A good opportunity here for Dallas. The shot that goes, but gets deflected there at the last possible second. Immediately you start seeing FC Dallas really starting to put the pressure on OKC. in the first less than a minute of this match.
Yeah, and you could tell that they started by taking advantage of the spaces provided to them on the near side, that left side. Of course, Hada taking advantage on the previous play, and then Pitter also finding some space in the box after Rosales found a nice passing lane and set him up.
Now that's a bit preoccupied when you start finding those types of passing lanes so early in a match. Here's Evans. Actually, it's Cyprian Hedrick right there as Frimpong out wide. Give you the lineups once again in just a moment as it's Hada looking to pressure. He's getting Frimpong the shot that goes very wide. Again, the starting lineup for OKC Energy with Laurenti in goal. Thomas, Hedrick, Andrews, and Ryden in the back. Frimpong, Evans, Biscoff, and Dalgard in the middle. Casey Townsend and Danny Koenig up top for Jimmy Nielsen's side. Meanwhile, for FC Dallas, it'll be Kevin Seitz in goal. It'll be Harris, Lloyd, Zimmerman, and Hada, with Pitter and Ortiz in the middle, Ulloa and Rosales out wide, Techo Akindele and Bonner up top for Oscar Pareja's FC Dallas side. As the pressure continuing, Dallas really looking to put the pressure, especially down the wings. A pass errant there for Rosales, and now it's Energy going on the counterattack. Looking and pressing and trying to hold the ball. Having Rosales scurrying around, just trying to hold the ball and make sure that nothing goes through. It's Cody Andrews to Cyprian Hedrick.
Energy trying to just get some breathing room. FC Dallas appears to be pressing on the ball a lot of pressure early on.
Looking deep, but not having the numbers, as quickly that ball is taken away by Walker Zimmerman. Holding in the middle is Dallas, just waiting, looking now. A good chance, a good ball, a good shot that goes wide. And all of a sudden, a little bit of carelessness by FC Dallas creates the first true opportunity of the match for OKC Energy.
And Colin Bonner with a really bad turnover deep in his territory, and that allowed for that play to develop and should have capitalized by Energy FC, but early on, a couple scoring chances. I like it.
So back and forth early on, as we're already in the 4th minute of play here in this preseason match. And I guess preseason in name, as both teams have really gone out and gone after each other rather quickly. It's Kevin Seitz with the clearance. Good pass out wide is Energy just looking, good job in the middle there as we continue down the left side. Watching out with the cross, crossing back and forth, trying to take advantage of the wings as FC Dallas trying to really crunch the middle up.
It's another costly turnover.
Another
right
costly turnover, and it could lead to some bad consequences now that Mauro Rosales, another passing lane that he's able to find. Techo Akindele go out wide, another chance, another shot, and another opportunity that goes right into the back of the net. And in the 5th minute, FC Dallas takes the lead. So a great chance there, as a great bit of vision, and Atiba Harris coming from the wing, slamming it home and giving FC Dallas the lead.
And you like the way Akindele just waited for a teammate to appear or show up to get some space, and he finally found them with the striker, Atiba Harris, who smacks it home, far post. It's a really nice play, but what you really got to point out is the way Akindele just tried to kill some time, gathered 3 or 4 defenders around them to create that space for Atiba Harris to put it in the back of the net and give Dallas the early lead.
You mentioned that, and it's interesting to see that Akindele was able to stop the ball, really slow things down there for a 1/10 of a second or so, really hold the ball, and really no pressure from that back line. Nobody really challenged him to really try and take that ball away, giving him that room and being able to find a player out wide. Now it's Energy looking to go and counter and try and find an answer. As it's down the wing, the opportunity that goes begging. It'll be a throw-in for, actually, excuse me, it'll be a foul. Check that. Good set-piece opportunity here, as it was Danny Koenig getting the foul, and another opportunity. He, of course, one of the players that's pretty good in the air, Danny Koenig. We'll see how they're able to respond. And that's one of the key moments when you see a team like this. They start out rather well. Maybe defensively they've really seen some lapses, and going back to the goal again, Akindele does get the ball, but it's another long pass by Mauro Rosales that creates it. Let's see how they're able to make that adjustment. Meanwhile, here's the set piece opportunity. Coming through the header that gets cleared out. As Energy reorganizing in that final third. Ball gets cleared out. Opportunity here for FC Dallas to go on the break. The run being made as you start seeing again. Timo Pitter, the chance to cross that goes through. Harris was waiting. It's going to be cleared out. It'll be a corner kick, the first of the night for FC Dallas. It'll be Mauro Rosales, who's been clinical so far with his passes, looking to add one more to his list.
And it's challenging for Energy to settle into their positions right now, especially when you're down a goal so early. And they want to. It seems like they want to get something going offensively, but it's the risk that they take in doing that, which allows these spaces to be created for FC Dallas.
Another header goes through, as it was Bonner coming through. Ball sails over the crossbar, but a lot of harassment there being given to goalkeeper Cody Laurendi, the former Fort Lauderdale Strikers goalkeeper.
You want to see Energy make things a little bit more difficult for Dallas. It seems like Dallas just gets the ball, recovers possession, and with 2 or 3 touches, they're already into the 18 in Energy's backfield, and you don't want to see that as the home side.
Pitter drops back and continues to circulate the ball. Very patient with Juan Ortiz. Tiva Harris moving around and trying to circulate through, but really barely any players in green as the ball recovered back in the middle and trying to find, looking for Danny Koenig, but not being able to do so. Here's Mauro Rosales dropping it back to Ortiz. Tiva Harris, the man that scored the opener for the men in red. Rosales. Ortiz.
And Energy with just some light pressure. And there's a turnover there from Dallas,
yeah.
but it's not a strong pressure from the home side, from Energy, and you want to see them pick up that energy level.
No pun intended, right?
No pun intended. No pun intended. But you do want to see them pick up that level and perhaps give them more challenges, at least when they're covering defensively.
Foul committed there right near the middle of the pitch, and it's not just the pressure too, Mike, it's also how quickly they're losing the ball, looking to go deep, trying to force the ball, and that's been one of the major issues so far in these first 9 minutes of this half. Is fortunately nothing wrong there with Sebastian Dalgard. Ball sent deep. Looking out wide, trying to find Michael Thomas, but not much going on as it's recovered there by Evans Frimpong, and eventually it's cleared out by FC Dallas, now giving chase. Causing some problems is Bonner, as Cyprian Hedrick is being given there the opportunity to really collect that ball. He gets fouled, pushed to the back, and
he draws that foul. And it's something you want to see at least early on, down a goal, right? You want to see them recover their spaces. You want to see them get back in position, and Cyprian Hedrick just doing a good job here, getting the ball back.
But give a lot of credit to Colin Bonner chasing it down. As we mentioned, one of the 2 trialists getting a shot tonight for Oscar Pareja.
Bonner very active early on as well.
He's been causing a lot of problems off the ball, really marking, really causing some pressure, and now it's OKC Energy looking across the ball into the middle. Good clearance there by Walker Zimmerman.
And OKC right now trying to use the flanks, the near side, the far side, trying to get something going, maybe with 1 run or 2 runs on those flanks, getting the cross in, trying to find their big guy, Danny Koenig. their leading goal scorer last season in USL, but nothing really concrete, nothing dangerous except for that one play that they had early on, but that was about it.
Zimmerman. It goes to Timo Pitter. Another erroneous pass, and now it's OKC looking to really start to bring that ball, trying to open it up. Way too high for Frimpong. And it'll be Jara again. So, Agustin Jara getting some action, and another, as we mentioned before, another trialist, and he's been very active as well. So, obviously, wanting to at least fight for a spot. And we'll talk about those particular battles that are going on the FC Dallas side, as far as trying to find out who will be on the bench, who will be starting by the time March 6th rolls around. Obviously, this side, most of the players that are on the starting 11 tonight will probably be fighting for a spot on the bench. Obviously, knowing players like Maxi Ruti coming in, we mentioned what he can do. Mauro Diaz not getting the start tonight as well. You start looking at players like Honduran international Minor Figueroa. He'll be one of the players that really holds the middle. And then even Carlos Grueso, man that came over from Stuttgart, the Ecuadorian international. He'll be quite an interesting sight to see for many MLS fans, whether they are Dallas fans or not. Could promise to be one of the revelations of this tournament coming up.
You talked about Maximiliano Urruti, the Argentine, who said he's aiming for 15 goals this season. Early on, very confident. The ex-Newell's Old Boys, Toronto FC, and also Portland Timbers, who's part of that Portland Timbers team that won the MLS Cup last season. And also a champion in Argentina, the 2013 Final tournament.
With Newell's Old Boys, exactly.
With Newell's Old Boys, correct.
Under former Barcelona coach Gerardo Martino.
Could be an interesting duo with Mauro Diaz.
Dalgard with the corner here, as it's the first one of the match for Energy, and gets cleared out there, and FC Dallas not able to hold it. Errant trapped there by Timo Pitter, looking for the cross, not too precise, and it goes from one end to the other, and it'll be FC Dallas quickly resetting play as it goes to none other than Tesho Akindele. Akindele holding it, trying to battle through, but the foul getting called, and FC Dallas will get a bit more progress forward on the pitch. It's Rosales. Tiba Harris looks slightly offside, but I guess that's not the case. The ball goes through the chance, a shot, another score, and a great dummy of a play there that ends up going through, and it's Tesho Akindele being provider on the first goal, but in the second one, it's all about him. 2-0, FC Dallas.
And OKC Energy FC caught taking a nap on that play as Mauro Rosales on that play, scooping it to his teammate, who then sets the cross and the dummy play. Of course, Timo Pitter putting it away, curling it past the keeper, nothing that Cody Laurendi could do. But it's on the defense of Energy FC. They perhaps were waiting for an offsides call that they didn't get, and that's what what helped this second goal for FC Dallas.
Timo Pitter, great on the finish there. I mentioned it was Akindele, but it was Timo Pitter on the score. But a tremendous bit of work there, just how they progressed down the wing and really are able to, how they were able to create that opportunity and that dummy play there that really made things happen. Really finding, as you see right there, Pitter all by himself down this wing. It was Akindele also, and you did see a bit of work there by Colin Bonner to really be able to create that space and find him all by himself on that far side.
I think another key, at least for Dallas's offense, is obviously Mauro Rosales. I mean, the more space he has, the more time he has to think, to find those passing lanes that he's so good at, the more trouble OKC is going to have in stopping FC Dallas.
There's a foul there on Rosales. So you've mentioned it a couple of times that Rosales, I mean, he throughout his career, yellow card being given there, first of the match, as it goes to Michael Biskoff. You got to really compose yourself at this stage. But defensively, we have seen OKC really be very cautious, very tentative. And that's when you have these types of players, when you have Mauro Rosales, obviously will most likely not be a starter. He'll be behind Fabian Castillo. But still, you can't give these types of players that can really put that ball through, I mean, could be very precise, can cause a lot of problems. You cannot give them the space necessary. Can really thread a needle and really cause some major complications. That's exactly what he's done so far in these first 2 goals for FC Dallas.
Yeah, and again, it's a very lenient defensive effort from OKC Energy, and you want to see a little bit more challenges. You want to see a little bit more speed defensively, recovering quickly, getting possession back. Just get the ball back, get a couple touches going, get some rhythm going. From what we've seen so far, offensively for Energy, they should take advantage of these turnovers. FC Dallas has got a 2-goal lead, but they also have created some key turnovers that Energy should have capitalized on. And I think right now that's what they should at least try to bank on, just to get a goal back before the half.
Hedrick. The ball goes out wide over to Michael Thomas, trying to make something happen there alongside Frimpong, but immediately FC Dallas pressuring, forcing the ball to go out of bounds. They do have a chance to reset here on the throw-in.
These two teams met recently in official competition, the 2015 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Dallas really didn't have a problem. They beat Energy 4-1 in the 4th round. So these two teams familiar with each other, obviously not just because of their affiliates, but they've also played each other in official competition.
As FC Dallas pressing forward, looking to make something happen here. Ortiz. Dropping it back, looking for Walker Zimmerman. Ortiz playing deep, but really being that metronome, really holding and really both destroying, but also being one of the first touches that start on the breakout. So very important, that piece of the puzzle right now for FC Dallas, as it's Jara again looking for a teammate. Drops it back to Walker Zimmerman. We're 19 minutes into this match, and FC Dallas so far have been the dominant side. Waiting, dropping back, and trying to get those final kinks out before the match at Toyota Stadium on March 6th against the Philadelphia Union. Fans, of course, coming through, really getting a lot of support. As you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Mike, a club that's really been embraced by the community. It's been really looked at in a positive light by the community. It's really taken it in and really growing their fan base in a big way as Frimpong loses the ball. Rosales trying to thread it through, but immediately now Energy looking to go on the break. Ball comes through, and it's again to Victor Ulloa.
And players from Energy on that last possession realize when Rosales has the ball, they have to collapse on them, or else this could get worse.
It could get worse as Hedrick sweeping through. Gareth Evans, another mistake, and Casey Townsend dropping back. Really haven't seen too much of Casey Townsend being, at least associating himself offensively up top with Danny Koenig, and really more defensive responsibilities, I guess you could say. There goes Townsend down the left, having to drop it back, and it goes over to Sebastian Dalgard.
And right now they're just trying to get their goal scorer involved. Danny Koenig hasn't done much so far in the game. They need him to get going though.
Dalgard again down the wing, looking, but immediately gets that ball taken away by Zach Lloyd, the hometown boy, or at least from nearby. As now it's Mauro Rosales. Lots of room for him to roam. As it goes over to Desha Kindeli, he swings it back. Being patient, trying to build slowly.
And Mauro Rosales, I mean, it's preseason, but it doesn't look like he's in preseason form. I mean, he's ready to go.
Oh, he is. He looks very sharp as of right now. Coming from Vancouver, but knows that he will get at least 10, 15 starts this season. And it's, as we mentioned before, one of those players to give this FC Dallas side some depth when it comes to CONCACAF Champions League, when it comes to US Open Cup and other opportunities in case there's, God forbid, any type of injuries that are suffered in the midfield. He can really come in and really
Absolutely.
offer that leadership role, not only just distribution role.
The experience, absolutely. It's probably one of the most valuable assets he has, that he brings to this team. You got to point out Michael Thomas for OKC Energy. On that right flank from that back line, he's the one that's really trying to disrupt things as many times as possible, trying to get possession back for the home side. And it's perhaps not the best effort right now overall for Energy, but he's probably one of the more consistent ones in that back line, at least in the effort to get the ball back.
Ortiz, former Uniautónoma, former Millonarios man over in Colombia. Interesting to start seeing a player like Atiba Harris playing out wide in the position he is, a Canadian international.
And the reason you want to point out Michael Thomas too is that his teammates in that back line are going to feed off of that effort. And we just saw Cody Andrews anticipate on that last attacking possession from FC Dallas. And that's what you want to see. Build off that.
Koenig right there looking to try and make something happen, but really trying to force, trying to push, and the touch there left much to be desired. It's Zach Lloyd.
FC Dallas obviously in cruise control right now, even though they're in Energy's territory once again. But in cruise control, they probably brought it down a notch. And Energy should also take advantage of that. Perhaps catch them off guard on a counter, get a couple touches going, maybe make FC Dallas a little bit more uncomfortable than at the level that they're playing at right now.
But I got to throw this one at you. In order to surprise him, you have to pressure him into forcing a mistake in order to be able to go on the counter and surprise him. So I at least from what I see it right now, is Frimpong trying to go through forcing the pass, but he is fortuitously, at least foul right there, being called in favor of Energy. And you're right, they do need to pressure, or they do need to try and catch him off guard, but very tough when you're not going and really pressuring him, as Evans looking to try and do exactly that. Casey Townsend making the run, but has to stop as Dalgard giving advantage. The referee, is he going to keep giving advantage? Yes, he is. Players kind of stopped there a little bit, but still Energy with the ball, with possession, trying to weave that ball around, and on the far side, Hedrick there, a little bit tied up, but ends up getting bailed out by his teammate as he's opening himself up, trying to go wide, but not wide enough, as Zach Lloyd anticipates very well. I missed the chase there by Kalen Ryden. Rosales back to Ortiz, native of Medellin in Colombia. Zimmerman continuing to move it, as Zimmerman going back and forth, moving it back into the middle. Good job there as it goes to Timur Pitter. Pitter trying to associate himself a little bit better with Agustin Jara. Pitter back in the middle it goes, as it's Victor Ulloa. And the pass just way too long and way too far, and well, out of bounds.
And this could be also a product of what I just mentioned before, that perhaps because FC Dallas has brought it down a notch, they got a 2-goal lead, they're comfortable, they might not be as as focus. They might not have the sense of urgency, and so they'll commit these turnovers. And this is where energy should come in and try to build off that.
Trying to lobby there as far as the line judge is concerned, but not much of anything there. Is quickly trying to take pace, and that's exactly what they do. They go down again, as you were talking about. Michael Thomas going on the break, has to drop it back a little bit. Thomas on the wing. The run being made by Frimpong in the middle, but not much going on there. Evans going back into middle, looking to go up against Walker Zimmerman. Meanwhile, on the far side, you did see Casey Townsend. But he's really no match. Frimpong now curled around, finding the ball, finding the space, finding the chance, a shot that goes through, and it's a goal for OKC Energy. Not sure who's going to get credit for it, but it could be an own goal here.
It looked like it went off Zach Lloyd.
Michael Biscoff put it on target, but it does get deflected into the goal. We'll try and find out exactly how that will be scored, but we'll see. But Michael Biscoff, at least for right now, should be credited for the goal. But unfortunately, Zach Lloyd coming back, it deflects off him, goes into the back of the net. But to me, as of right now, it should go to Biscoff unless Zach Lloyd gets credit for the own goal. Let's see this. Oh, no. That's got to be an own goal, absolutely, on Zach Lloyd. That's got to be an own goal, because initially it looked like he did take a shot on goal, but you saw that a cross going in for Koenig. So yes, it is going to be an own goal on Zach Lloyd.
But Michael Biscoff, though, he had a clear lane to the goal. No defenders around him. And basically, they just let him right in. Here you go. If you want to score, go right ahead. And as we see a little trash talking between Tiba Harris and one of the players from Energy, it's Sebastian Dalgard. But again, no, what I said before about FC Dallas perhaps getting too comfortable and allowing these mistakes to happen because they may lose a little focus because of their comfort level, and that's how OKC now got one goal back.
You did talk about that leading
no
up to the goal.
No challenge whatsoever on that play to goal.
No chance whatsoever. I mean, and unfortunately for Zach Lloyd, a homecoming of sorts for him, of course, coming from, you start seeing he comes from nearby Verdigris in Oklahoma. But to be honest with you, he was caught in no man's land as that ball ends up hitting him. And unfortunately, it hits him from an angle and from a spot that really he couldn't do too much to avoid it. Ends up going into the back of the net. And now FC Dallas really have to turn it around, because after being up 2 goals and really putting it on cruise control, the chance to shot in, again, Laurenti, the header there by Zimmerman going over. And now FC Dallas about to, I was saying right there, they were looking to have to bounce back. They did it in a big way. Did not end up being a goal, but another wake-up call for that OKC Energy defense.
Cody Laurenti with a big save there for Energy. Energy, who's sticking to the game plan. We pointed out before, they're looking to get their offense going on the flanks. That's how we saw their goal basically form with Frimpong. Michael Thomas also involved in that play where they scored, and they're sticking to that. They're sticking to that game plan.
Evans and Ulloa, they're clashing, as it's Biscoff, the man that put the assist for the own goal, I guess you could say, with the ball at his feet, dropping it back, and you start seeing a little bit more confidence here by Energy. Thomas back into the middle. Here's Evans looking to dump it into space for Frimpong, but it's Hara right there. The foul will be called, and Dallas will have the ball back as a foul committed there on the trialist Agustin Hara.
And you gotta like the way Energy is trying to play with one touches as well. Now that they have this confidence, that they've gained a little bit of confidence, they've gained a little bit of rhythm now. You like the way that they're trying to finish these plays with one touch, just trying to catch the FC Dallas defense off guard. That last play, perhaps the long ball wasn't the most precise, but the idea was there.
The idea is there, exactly. Again, here is Zach Lloyd.
And
Looking deep. Here's again, as it was Akindele pressuring, but Hedrick doing a great job there of, at the last second, tapping that ball away. Ends up being a throw-in, and quickly it's reset here as it's Ortiz. Big whiff there by Zimmerman. And now Energy with a chance. Nobody running in the middle. Everybody going out in the wings, so really very difficult to cross that ball.
They
It's
gotta
Evans
get it
to Thomas.
They got to get it to Danny Koenig, the Danish striker. Maybe they might find him right here.
Townsend back into the middle. It goes through as it was Biscoff looking to thread that ball through, but nobody there. FC Dallas find themselves in a bit of a bind right now, trying to clear that ball out in any ways or any means necessary. As Hedrick leading the charge on the reset here for a very inspired, energized team. Another throw in here.
You know, if you're FC Dallas, I mean, the recipe to get this thing going again is give it back to Mauro Rosales. Find a way to get the ball to the Argentine playmaker. He's got a good eye. He reads the game well. He can see these passing lanes. He can make something happen very fast. It's getting the ball back to Rosales.
And you're talking about getting it to Koenig. Well, that's one of the ways to do it, that deep ball, but it's Hara covering it, clearing it out. Setting it deep again is Hedrick. Doing that libero, although he's not a libero, he's playing as a central defense.
You know, but
doing a great job of really sweeping through Hedrick.
The deep ball to Koenig is an option, but the play on the flanks has been working for them. We see Michael Thomas doing the runs on the right side. We've seen Dahlgaard making his runs on the other side, on the far side, the left side. So the long ball necessarily does not have to be the main option. You can feed the ball through the flanks. The players going up and down the flanks. They're finding some spaces. They're finding some rhythm. They're getting some touches around. That last touch, though, that last third of the field should be for Koenig.
But if you also look at it, too, Koenig really doesn't have anyone to really dump the ball off to at this point. I mean, especially when you send it deep, he really doesn't have anyone. So we'll see how that is adjusted. You did mention how well they're doing down the wings with Thomas, even to Townsend to an extent. But again, as you mentioned before, here's a good job by Ulloa. Surrounded by three players, has to drop it back. And resetting things is Hara for Ortiz, who sends it out wide to Atiba Harris. Does have, and he did have someone, but didn't have control, and can't have one without the others. It's a throw in here for OKC Energy.
I think Atiba Harris got a little ahead of himself. You saw that it's almost like you could tell he knew what he wanted to do before getting the ball, but then as he was making that play in his mind, the ball got away from him.
Hara brings it down. He's been battling a great deal, the left back for FC Dallas. Evans calms it down, sends it to Cody Andrews. Back to Hedrick. Zach Lloyd. Lloyd back to Atiba Harris. Scored the opener for FC Dallas in the 4th minute of play. Trying to slow things down, trying to open things up at the same time, as it's Hara. Makes Frimpong right there. Whiff as it's again. Great job by Timo Pitter. Man, that scored the second one for FC Dallas. And it'll be a corner kick after it gets deflected out of bounds. A nice crowd here at Taft Stadium. As we continue seeing fans moving around, enjoying, and kids in the background playing some ball. So that's one of the positives of having this environment. As it's Mauro Rosales. Top of the 6-yard box. The header really not causing a great deal of fruition there on that finalization. And Zimmerman battling, going up against Michael Thomas. Thomas trying to shield through, but it's the big guy trying to win it. Rosales serving it. Great service intended for Tesho Akindele, but not much going on as Dallas trying to recover. They do, as it's Rosales once again, mentioning his name quite a bit. Very precise on the pass. Another left-footed service. And the ball right in the possession of Cody Lorendi.
So again, we're seeing Rosales, this time a little bit more on the left. You can tell he's got some liberty to move around in that last third of the field for FC Dallas. Now he's come back more to the near side. He's trying to get his teammates involved. Talked about the environment in Taft Stadium. OKC Energy, seventh in attendance last season in USL. This is a team that's starting their third season.
As we mentioned before, just tremendous so far, the support, and
gotta like the loyalty.
Zach Lloyd really looking to go down and really went down kind of hard there, but the referee saying, no, hold on a second. Gives a talking to Dalgard as play resumes. Harris and looking for Colin Bonner. Ortiz. Tejada. Those long passes. The only one that's been really effective, as you see right there, Jimmy Nielsen. Former Sporting KC winner, won the US Open Cup a couple of years ago. Also won an MLS title with Sporting KC just recently before retiring.
Twice an MLS All-Star, Danish Goalkeeper of the Year, 1998, 2004. I mean, he's got quite the resume.
He's got a nice pedigree, I think you could say. Yeah, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. Knows a thing or two. Just remember that penalty shootout a couple of years ago in the US Open Cup final against Seattle. Of course, it was funny, one of the newspapers in Denmark just a couple of days ago, as Jimmy Nielsen was in the news there, as he was, of course, looking to reinforce his squad. Of course, they bring in Tim Jansen to be able to reinforce, and they're saying, yeah, well, Jimmy Nielsen coming and getting one of his boys, I guess you could say, because trying to bring in some of the Danish players into USL, into his OKC Energy side to reinforce the attack. So we'll start seeing some reinforcement. There's 5 minutes left in this first half. Crossed into the area, cleared away there by Cody Andrews. And Rosales battling, able to poke that ball away. But Dalgard getting brought down, complaining to the ref, complaining to see if he can get the call. Does get it, and OKC gets the ball after the infraction committed on none other than Sebastian Dalgard,
who's been very active as well for Energy FC in this first half. It took a while for the home side to get it going. That's where FC Dallas took advantage of that, got a 2-goal lead. But Dalgard is actually one of the main culprits of this comeback that they're trying to.
Here's Frimpong crossing the ball into the middle. Sorry about that, Mike. And Atiba Harris.
That's all right.
As he was trying to find an opportunity, but nobody really there. Atiba Harris really easily collecting that ball.
And Frimpong is another player on the flank, but on the near side, that right side, trying to own that flank, trying to get some space, trying to get some crosses in there. He's been active as well in this first half.
But overall, you start seeing, now we're in the 40th minute, start to get your analysis a little bit about what both teams have done. And quickly we start to see, again, Zach Lloyd looking to go through, and another errant pass. Haven't been, both central defenders really, when they're trying to force that ball through, have not been too successful. Spring Pong again as he loses the ball. Ulloa starting the break, finding Connor, going out wide, as it was, again, Timo Pitter. Rosales back to Pitter, crossing the middle, and it's Hedrick there at the last second, clearing it out. It'll be a corner kick for FC Dallas.
FC Dallas trying to find that spark that got him this 2-goal lead early on. Kind of turned off a bit in the first half, and now right before the half, right before halftime, trying to get that same spark going, maybe get another goal right before the half.
As you start seeing the opportunities here for FC Dallas have not come as frequently as they did at the beginning of the match, but clearly it's one of the things that you really start to see when they really press forward, when they put that, if you will, that foot on the accelerator. They're a squad that really creates some really important chances, as the corner kick really has been one of the allies for this team, a team that maybe doesn't have the most height in FC Dallas, but they know that the way they move around, they do end up always finding one player in one way or another. Is Cody Larendi able to get that ball and really pretty much grab it, and I forget any type of threat that Dallas was able to create in that particular play.
Well, surely they can create some damage as soon as Rosales gets the ball.
But he's been the one that has really created that. It has been either Rosales, and the ball just gets skied up in the air.
It's obvious that when he starts orchestrating that offense, when he starts trying to find those passing lanes, as I mentioned before, when he starts to find his teammates making the runs on the flank, whether it's Hada or Atiba Harris, when it's him running the offense, Dallas can really do some damage. Now, I mentioned before that comfort zone that they got into, and I think that's where they got into trouble. Once they got that 2-goal lead early on, they kind of, relaxed a little bit, and perhaps that's to blame for the OKC getting a goal back. As we get a chance here for FC Dallas, there will be a throw-in for the visiting side, but they got into that comfort zone, and that's where that allowed energy to get back into this game.
Rosales quickly on the reset, and that's the whole familiarity issue there. Rosales playing at a different speed mentally, just kind of played a little too fast for Hara, and ends up giving the ball right back to Energy. Pitter to Atiba Harris. Harris looking to set that ball through, as it's Bonner running into the middle, looking to find that space and looking to really create something, as it's Walker Zimmerman alongside Zach Lloyd, the defensive pairing for FC Dallas on this evening. Again, 3 of the players that played against Alianza FC just a few days ago getting the start today. Zach Lloyd, one of them. So you do have new players in trying to get themselves a little bit more familiarized with one another. It's Harris a little bit too heavy, actually quite heavy on that touch. He didn't have the room to really put that ball that heavy, and it ends up going out of bounds in favor of Energy FC. Last few seconds of this first half, plus whatever time will be added by the referee for stoppage time. Bonner battling, using that big frame of his to stay alive in the play, but finally it gets taken away there, as it was Cody Andrews. Zach Lloyd. Juan Ortiz. Jara back to Rosales. First time's it back to Jara. The shot, the intention was there. First time it from an awkward angle, but it was there, as you did see Jara trying to make the effort there on target.
The FC Dallas now trying to put some more pressure as we get close to the half. You got to point out as well that the back line for Energy FC, Michael Thomas, Hedrick, Cody Andrews, Ryden, getting more physical now. They started very slow. They started almost not really focused, and now you're starting to see that they're getting more physical.
Again, Lorendi skying that ball up. That ball just stayed there for quite a bit, as it's another chance for FC Dallas. Atiba Harris, good effort there as Ortiz put him in a very precarious situation. He's able to recover, maintain possession. As you see Akindele running around. Bonner maybe a little too close, and that'll be the end of the first half as FC Dallas jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Got a little comfortable, Mike, and then towards the end, an own goal really complicated them, but so easy sailing for the MLS side.
But we got a game, though. That own goal really opened up the confidence for the home side, and now it's FC Dallas, instead of taking a 2-goal lead, has a 1-goal lead.
So, of course, very key wise words there by Jimmy Nielsen. We'll see how he plans to make some adjustments for the second half. But overall, Mike, as you mentioned, it's been an interesting game. Yes, FC Dallas has been able to establish the tempo. They have been able to complicate things here and there. I'm talking about energy as far as really making some tough situations for FC Dallas. And a lot of the mistakes that FC Dallas has made have come and created some opportunities for energy on the opposite side. But overall, you do see the MLS side really being the dominant side from a tactical and even a technical standpoint as well.
Yeah, they were very aggressive early on. It's what got them the 2-goal lead. Giving the ball to Mauro Rosales, the Argentine playmaker, and once they got that 2-goal lead, as we had mentioned before, they got into this comfort zone. They felt that like they, take the foot off the gas pedal and really try to dominate the game with the slower tempo, but that really backfired on them. And that's where OKC Energy were able to find some more spaces. They were able to use the flanks, as we pointed out before. Dalgard on the left, Frimpong, Michael Thomas on the right, getting some spaces, getting a rhythm going for the home side. And they got a goal back. FC Dallas is still in the lead, but it's an interesting game right now.
Yeah, and with that, what you talked about as far as how interesting the game is and the matchups have been going, we're going to check out right now what happened in that first 45-minute session as both teams really came out. But it was FC Dallas that really pressed forward, that really did a great deal of work. As you see right there, Bonner really, with that mistake, really opening the door for the first big opportunity of the match. And it was right there when the major danger came through for the home side.
And it was the turnovers early on for FC Dallas, really the only chance for energy. But here, this is a great play as Atiba Harris smacks it past the goalkeeper. And it was really the effort from Tisho Akindele just holding the defenders, trying to get some space as the defenders collapse. And he was able to find Atiba Harris to give FC Dallas the 1-0 lead.
And it's good that you mention Akindele. It's good that you mention, we should even mention Bonner, is it did get a little bit physical at times. There were some opportunities that did come through, but honestly, you did see that whenever FC Dallas was complicated, well, they ended up going to one man. It's Mauro Rosales, who might not get the assist, but a lot of times would get that pass that would start things up, such as a second goal that would come off of the foot of Timo Pitter. But a lot of good work being done by the two forwards up top in Tesha Akindele and Colin Bonner that really off the ball, or when the ball was coming, either they let the ball go through, they really moved around very well.
The movement off the ball, it was key for them, yes, absolutely. But then it kind of cooled off in the middle portion of the first half, and that's what they need to get back to in the second half.
And they did, and you mentioned that, and then you start seeing players like Frimpong, and you start seeing players like Biscoff. And Biscoff, really, a couple of times he made those runs. This time, it did come to fruition. He sets the ball up looking for Koenig, but at least from a OKC Energy standpoint, fortuitously for them, Zach Lloyd comes through, knocks the ball into the back of the net. I don't even think that if Zach Lloyd would have hit it, well, the opportunity would have been there, but Koenig was in a position to come through. But immediately you see FC Dallas bounce back, try and get some opportunities, but really controlled OKC Energy in a lot of situations.
Yeah, the 2-goal lead obviously helped them out. Energy got a goal back, but that's what FC Dallas needs to get back to in the second half, get that momentum, and dominate the game again.
We'll be right back. Welcome back as everyone getting ready. Very intense sumo wrestling match that there was at halftime.
Get your sumo on.
Of course, as referee Mark Kadlicik, as well as Roy Robinson and Matt Trotter, the two assistants. Fourth official Nima Sagafi in charge of imparting justice. Mike, and you do see this. We talked about how, yeah, despite the result, despite the opportunities, we do see FC Dallas really controlling the action so far in this first half, as you see right there in the halftime statistics.
Of course, it's the shots that you see the big difference, 10-2. But the game's actually a lot closer than what's reflected on the statistics.
But yeah, I mean, you do mention that, but it's more important to also start establishing what they've been able to do with the ball. I mean, the shots can be a little bit deceiving because some of the opportunities have really been wide of goal. They really haven't been the most effective. Obviously, the two that are the most effective were the ones that went in. And you start to see that with the ball and what they were able to do with it. The quickness at times when they were able to have the ball on their defensive final third and really make the transition through the middle of the pitch and really start attacking OKC Energy really made a huge difference as far as really creating some mismatches and some good opportunities in the process. As the second half is underway here, we'll find out if there's any substitutions on either end, but we're trying to see here as things go through. And quickly we're looking to see if there were any changes. Really not much going on as it's Seitz in goal. Harris, Lloyd, Zimmerman, and Jara in the back. Pitter and Ortiz with Mauro Rosales and Victor Ulloa in the middle. Tesha Kendeli and Colin Bonner, the starters for FC Dallas for this second half. Try and confirm same thing with OKC Energy.
And if you're a Dallas fan, you want to see FC Dallas get back to that aggressiveness that they were showing those first 10-15 minutes of the game. That's really what you want to see from this team. I know it's preseason, but that's really what you want to build off of. And as far as energy, you want to avoid that start that you had in the first half. I mean, it wasn't very focused, slow, not much reaction. As we got a chance here for energy.
And that's, again, the same way they started the first half. They're starting the second half. And it's a very interesting set of circumstances here is, again, FC Dallas slowing down just a little bit.
Energy's got to get Dahlgaard involved again, Frimpong, Thomas on the flanks. I want to see a little bit more of Gareth Evans. Of course, Danny Koenig is their main guy, and you want to start feeding him some more balls up the middle, obviously within the 18, a lot closer to goal.
So quickly, Energy looking to go deep, maybe too deep, as Atiba Harris just shepherds that ball through, just waiting for it to roll out of bounds. It'll be FC Dallas, and you see right there on the top, right there near the side of your screen, you start seeing Kellen Acosta start to warm up for FC Dallas. So there will be substitutions sooner rather than later. We'll see what goes on as far as both Oscar Pareja as well as Jimmy Nielsen when it comes to the adjustments that they will make in this second half. Again, some preseason action from Oklahoma City as it's Juan Arango alongside Mike Lopez. Dahlgaard trying to split the defense there, but standing strong once again is Atiba Harris.
Atiba Harris. Juan Ortiz now starting to double team these passing lanes, trying to break any kind of consistency or rhythm that Energy wants to build offensively. Weren't seeing that much of it from FC Dallas from a defensive standpoint in the first half. Rosales
now playing on the right, trying to be as effective as he was in the first half. Really a tribute to what he's been able to do so far in his career in MLS. Cody Lorendi, native of Melbourne, Florida there, anticipating, coming out, grabbing the ball, looking to see where he can send it. Guys, just get out of here. Go. Send that ball deep. Just go.
You know, that back line for Energy on that last play that we just saw, again, looking for an offsides call, whistle, and that was the same mistake that led to the first goal for FC Dallas. And they need to be a little bit more focused and not wait for the lineman to make a call, the referee to make a call. They just got to keep playing. whether you have a case for it or not, you got to keep playing.
Biskov. Again, very imprecise in those crosses, those switches from one side to the other. Really causing a lot of problems, not just for Energy, but also for FC Dallas.
Energy trying to get some numbers on FC Dallas's side of the field. We see now that was Ryden on that last play, making the push on the near side. Dalgard, of course, always involved. Michael Thomas, Evans Frimpong on the far side. Try to complicate things defensively for FC Dallas.
Evans. And it's Dalgard. Really haven't mentioned Casey Townsend in quite a while. It's Bonner right down the middle. He's being followed behind by Rosales. Bonner right into the near the first post, but it gets cleared out. It'll be another corner kick for FC Dallas here as the second half, just 5 minutes in, and it's the visitors with a 2-1 lead right now. Michael Thomas there organizing the defense. The captain, Rosales. In-swinger, ball just bouncing in near the 6, finally gets cleared out. Still not out of harm's way, but the shot that comes through, very misdirected. OKC Energy come out unscathed in this particular attack by FC Dallas, as we're already in the 51st minute of play here at Taft Stadium.
Not a good shot there. Far from goal, wasn't positioned correctly, not enough power on it. I don't think that was the right idea. Perhaps should have controlled it, retained possession, pass it along to a teammate, and make something of that. At least try to. Now the pace starting to slow down. I know it's early on in the second half, but it's a pace that's starting to slow down for both teams.
As you see that wind, we were talking about when Laurendi was taking them goal kicks, especially in the latter part of the first half, when it was hanging. You see that the reason why, that wind that's really going towards the goal, now being defended by Kevin Seitz. Really a major factor. We'll see if they can take advantage of it, because it's Zach Lloyd. Seitz. Out wide as it goes to all the way. Rosales recovering.
It's 1 second ahead, always. Rosales is.
Bonner. Pushing, looking for the foul. Again, they stop a little bit, but Bonner able to find Rosales once again. Looking to put it through as the run was being made by Timo Pitter. Ulloa. Crossed there by Atiba Harris. Nobody able to touch it, and it goes out of bounds on the opposite side of the pitch.
You know, just small details, but Cyprian Hendrick, talking about before how the Energy backlines looking for offsides calls, and that last play, Hendrick was looking for a push-off from Bonner, looking to the referee. You can't do that. You just got to keep playing. And once the whistle blows, then the play's dead, but you can't just look to the ref and, you know, look for a way out. You got to keep playing through it.
Poor play there by Gareth Evans. The chance by Bonner gets swept away there at the last second, as the captain, Michael Thomas, being able to prevent that shot on goal, but it ends up being a corner kick again for FC Dallas. 53rd minute of play, and now you start seeing FC Dallas really coming through and really starting to press and really starting to cause some problems for that back line, for that defense, as it was, again, Colin Bonner from UNC Wilmington.
Third-round pick in the 2016 draft. One of 4 draft picks for FC Dallas.
Goes off of the back of Walker Zimmerman. Sails right into the hands of Cody Laurendi. Again, it's a result. That particular sequence was a result of a misplayed ball there by OKC Energy. They continue to look for spaces. Good chance here. Nobody coming through. Has to drop it back. But Danny Koenig not able to get to it. As again, it was Michael Biskoff running down that channel, not really creating much of anything there, especially I'm talking about Koenig as the ball ends up going behind him. Now FC Dallas looking to respond as it's Victor Ulloa. Native of Wiley, Texas, gets the ball back from Juan Ortiz. And trying to settle it down a little bit. But Bonner not able to control it, and it's going to be Energy's ball. Thomas.
Talk about Bonner being one of the 4 draft picks for FC Dallas. The others being first round pick Ryan Herman, Timo Pitter, who's been very active, very involved in this game, and the 4th round pick Jacob Speed. A lot of youth, a lot of young talent in FC Dallas, a lot of homegrown talent as well.
That's been one of the staples of this club, to really not only just be able to create and have some top homegrown players, but also some of the additions that they've had in the past couple of years that have been major contributors. Maybe not the high profile signings that many expect from some of the MLS teams, but still the players that they've been able to acquire have been major contributors, and they've been able to really assert themselves at least as one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Let's see if they can continue that trend this year.
Got them close to the MLS Cup.
Hara. Dalgard back to Biskoff. Thomas going to Frimpong. Frimpong shrugs off a defender. The cross into the middle. Again, it goes off. Cleared away there at the last second by Atiba Harris, and using his body in any way, shape, or form was Juan Ortiz. Gets the foul called on him, and it'll be FC Dallas ball. But very interesting what OKC has been able to do off the dribble, what they've been able to create, especially on that right side. Both Thomas and Frimpong have been 2 of the most active, 2 of the most consistent players on this team, really creating both offensively and defensively.
And really picking up right where they left off in the first half. It worked out for them after Dallas got that 2-goal lead, and they're going right back to it. I mean, it's not that difficult. Go right back to the basics, go right back to what got you that rhythm, what got you back into this game.
Substitution here, as it'll be Ryan Hollingshead coming in. Second round draft pick over in 2013. The 20th overall pick coming on.
Tipa Harris stepping off. As he got the, he was the one that scored the 2nd goal for FC Dallas.
He scored the opener for FC Dallas. So we're gonna start seeing quite a few subs coming in for the next few minutes as we get into the final 30 minutes sooner rather than later. Here's Frimpong looking to go through, no offside. Couldn't get to it. Casey Townsend.
Yeah, correction. It was Atiba Harris going to 1st goal.
Exactly. So you got, and you see right there, Kellen Acosta just came in. Right there, in the middle, actually on the right of your screen. Kellen Acosta just came in. We'll find out who he replaced. As he came in for Victor Ulloa. Energy also trying to open things up. Ryden.
Kellen Acosta, one of the, you mentioned a lot of homegrown talent. He's one of them, coming from the FC Dallas Academy. This is good experience for these young players. Even though it's
Right.
preseason, it gives them minutes, gives them the chance to develop their game early on. And FC Dallas is going to need it. I mean, we talked about CONCACAF Champions League. This is way down the line in August, but they're going to need that depth.
They're going to need that depth. You saw the wind right there just hold the ball in the air when Kevin Seitz was clearing it out. Got to keep that ball low. It's just lifting that ball up, keeping it up in the air. I actually wanted to send a quick hello over to Franco Sui Yuan over in Oklahoma City. Happens to be at the game. Bonner dropping it back. Done good work when he recovers the ball, trying to find the first man open. As Hara able to open things up, but ends up getting that ball knocked out of bounds. You hear that whipping wind coming from right to left on your screen, if you will.
You gotta like the work that Bonner does when he receives the ball with his back to goal. I mean, the way he shields the ball, the way he protects it, the way he drops it back, he does that really well.
Physically, if you start looking at him, it does remind you a little bit of a Kenny Cooper. It's now OKC Energy looking to press forward. Not with a lot of success. Again, some complications here on the defense.
Getting sloppy.
Very. And it'll be a throw-in for the home side. Looking to pressure, looking to take advantage, and they're doing exactly that right now. Riding. But also keep in mind the wind, how it's moving around in that sector. You just see the ball just stay up a little bit longer than they wish. Let's see how this throw-in works in, as it's Kalen Ryden looking to serve that ball in. Frimpong getting called, and it'll be a foul in favor of OKC Energy. A big opportunity here for the equalizer.
Frimpong somehow draws the foul. You couldn't really tell what happened there. Didn't seem like much contact. The referee calls it anyway, and he talked about the wind. Now this could be a problem for both teams as well. Any turnover, any play affected drastically by the wind could catch defenders off guard, offline, out of position, and either team could capitalize off that.
Going through, and it's easy pickings there for Kevin Seitz.
You want to make sure you keep it on the ground, though. With this kind of wind, you want to get as many touches as you can on the ground. Try to avoid the long ball.
That's exactly what FC Dallas is looking to do. Let's see if that was a major factor. Good ball there by Hollingshead, but maybe just a little too heavy on the touch.
Hollingshead got the ball, got control on it, got his head up, looked to get an open teammate. He found it. It's too much though, but good energy off the bench.
'63rd minute, we're still 2-1. Dalgard. Now again, it's Michael Biscoff. Aaron pass, and it's Mauro Rosales. The run being made by Bonner. Into the middle, trying to get behind the defenders. That's Timo Peter that tries to put that ball wide. Ends up sailing just feet away from that far post. Be a goal kick for OKC Energy as we reach the 64th minute of play. But again, Mike, we start to see how these mistakes, okay, fine, they've been forgiven a couple of times by FC Dallas, but they really have to stop committing these types of mistakes, passing the ball, and not really being able to defend so well on that transition in order to really prevent that third goal from getting scored.
Yeah, no doubt. And you saw it, that back line from Energy in that last play, that you got to wonder why Pitter just stopped running him. He had a clear path to the goal, and he tried to cut it back to bend it to that second post, but he really should have just kept running. I mean, he had no defenders around him really, and if he did, they were going to be late in trying to recover. He really had a clear path. He should have just kept going. And it's those type of mistakes. I mean, it kind of looked like the mental mistakes that Energy had those first 10 minutes of the game. Just kind of not focused. He's really giving these easy touches to FC Dallas.
Hedrick. Looking for a man, has to drop it back. And looking for the deep ball. And it's Sights. Saying, guys, move forward. Instead, he says, forget it. Let me just roll it out. Have you guys play it out from the back. And it's Hollingshead back to Zach Lloyd. Acosta not being able to control it. As Ortiz right there again hustling. That's been what he's been doing so far. That's what he's done so far in this match. Really going up and destroying in the middle. Notice that most of the possession that OKC Energy has had, the most effective, I should say, has been down the wings. And you've mentioned that quite a bit, Mike, as far as the men in green are concerned. That's been attributable in part to what Juan Ortiz has been able to do in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen Energy get back to at least early on in the second half, and it's been working for them. And Dallas hasn't really found a way to disrupt that.
Lloyd. Pitter. He's dropped back a little bit more. The run being made out wide. Now we'll see play being made there by Tesha Kindeli, just putting the brakes on, waiting for his teammates. He gets some support from Kellen Acosta as Bonner right in the middle. Bonner going out wide. Hollingshead, hey, let's just keep possession of the ball. Acosta to Ortiz. Bonner there matching up against Hedrick.
It's a good ball.
Hara couldn't capitalize it as it goes over to Michael Biscoff. Skied straight up in the air. Who will recover it? Being battled for, and FC Dallas being very generous with that ball, meaning that pretty much just giving them opportunities to get the ball back. Not being able to capitalize our OKC Energy, and now again, let's just try and find the spaces. Let's try and find the opportunities here.
Holding on to possession as much as they can, that's a good sign. You gotta like what Pitter's doing though. Trying to take charge of that midfield, finding a teammate, trying to get the ball, trying to get something going.
Rosales.
It's a hard challenge.
Substitution about to take place here for OKC Energy. Rosales again setting himself up, seeing if he can really set that ball up in the middle, being cleared out, and again it'll be an out of bounds. It'll be out of bounds for FC Dallas.
Looked like Daniel Jackson, the forward, was warming up.
Yeah, you do need some help up top, because that's been a major issue. Danny Koenig has really not been active so far in this first half, and even in the second half now. Maybe you need to find somebody in the middle too, because the distribution has been much to be desired. Timo Pitter, the shot that goes over.
Just barely, but again, you gotta like this kid's effort.
He's been working really hard in the middle. That you have to give him lots of credit.
The shot sails on him just a little bit, but you gotta like the way he's trying to get involved. He's trying to get something going. He saw a shot. He took the shot. Got some authority in there, took the shot. He didn't get it, didn't score on it, but you got to like his attitude. You got to like the work he's putting in, the spaces that he's trying to find. It's a good effort.
Two substitutions. Of course, first one will be Daniel Gonzalez from up in Seattle, from Yelm, Washington, former Kitsap Pumas man, and Tim Jansen. Coming on for OKC Energy. I think it's been about a good 7-8 minutes since last we've seen Chris Seitz touch the ball. Ortiz, because all the action has been on the Energy side of the pitch, or the lion's share of it, I should say. Hollingshead, again, Kellen Acosta. Fast-moving second half. This is Tim Jansen coming in for Casey Townsend, who's been rather anonymous in this match. Really seen little to nothing. And Jansen, of course, just signed a few days ago.
And you're starting to see OKC Energy's effort kind of cool down, at least their offensive effort cool down a bit, and it's allowing FC Dallas to just really dominate possession and get some extra touches in their possession. The last thing you want to do is really start chasing the ball around if you're OKC Energy, especially if you're trying to get this game back level.
Zimmerman, as we're at 71:08. Chris Seitz. Again, those passes up in the air getting held up by the wind, allowing OKC to really regroup, and it's Frimpong being chased by Hollingshead. Has to send it out wide. It goes to Hedrick. Looking for the handball. Not going to be. Referee says, no, keep playing. Michael Thomas. Across into the middle. Ortiz. Again, the ball still bouncing around. Cleared out by Kellen Acosta. Skied up. And now Dallas is looking to go on the counterattack, but failing to do so as it goes out of bounds. Looking to create something, looking to start something, just more, I guess, kicking the ball, running forward, trying to see what they can do. OKC Energy at this point, but they're showing still a great deal of work rate and a great deal of effort. Ortiz, Zach Lloyd leaves it for Seitz as he knocks it straight up in the air. Another 50-50 ball.
And Koenig is starting to get some touches, but he's far from goal. He's a striker. He needs to get in the 18 to really take advantage of his scoring ability. You're 25, 30 yards out.
Yeah, when you have a forward, especially that's a forward that needs to be inside the 18 and he's not there, it's very difficult to really put him in a situation where he can create something. And again, when you have passes like that, that really makes the climb upward that much difficult. Gareth Evans. Cody Andrews. And when you're behind, you really need to start, fine, the keeping possession is great, Mike, but now you're starting to see more lateral passes than anything else from OKC Energy. You don't see a lot of verticality from their attack.
which probably leads to Koenig getting the ball 25, 30 yards away from goal because there's no verticality.
Koenig trying to stay in a position between the two central defenders. Just see right there in his movement as everybody rushes up, Koenig stays up. Trying to be more of a nuisance if and when FC Dallas look to play the ball out of the back. But that's a very tall task for one man to really be able to accomplish as we're getting close to the final 15 minutes of this match. Rosales still in there. At this point, they might just probably play him out the entire 90. Give Fabian Castillo some time to just, relax. See right there, Cody Andrews.
We keep mentioning Danny Koenig.
Yeah,
21 goals last season, just one shy of the leading goal scorers in USL last season, just one behind Matt Fondy of Louisville City FC, who had 22. USL All-League first team last season as well. Had his best season since the 2010-2011 season when he was with Brøndshøj in Denmark. He scored 16 goals that season. Perhaps their most important player.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I guess you could say, especially when you have those types of stats, is now FC Dallas full speed ahead down the left side. Trying to shoot, the chance to shot right into the hands of Cody Lorendi. Really ended up with a huge stud, that attack. But again, not much going on. It's been a rather sleepy portion of this second half. Neither team really inflicting any harm on the other.
Very lukewarm effort by Akindele in that last possession for FC Dallas. He had a lot of space. He could have perhaps...
he could have done quite a few things with that ball.
Absolutely.
And just knocking that ball deep. But overall, it's been a good night for fans. Yeah, a bit of a chilly night in Oklahoma City, but it doesn't matter because the warmth that these fans have been able to create with the enthusiasm and excitement that they've shown, it's been a very good indicator of things to come in football in this particular part of the country where the other football tends to be king.
There's a good chance here for Energy. See what they do with it.
Jackson trying to make a run, but too far for him as Chris Seitz decides to open things out to the far side. And it's interesting that Oscar Pareja has been able to just keep this lineup together for this second half. Says, you know what, guys, play it out, get your feet warm, get your feet wet, get some minutes in them legs. We got a tough run in the coming weeks. Pitter. Acosta.
Pitter's trying to make a strong case to be a starter.
Hollingshead has shown some interesting movements on that right side. He's held it, moved it, kept it, deflected there as the ball was en route to goal. It gets cleared out here. There's another group of substitutions will begin. You see right there, a few players for OKC Energy really getting into the more intense part of their warm-up. Number no limit is, you see, for FC Dallas, it'll be Moises Hernandez coming on. Also, Aaron Guillen coming on for Oscar Pareja as well. So Guillen comes in for Zach Lloyd. And Mauro Rosales, as soon as I said that, I guess Oscar Pareja said, no, he's already had his time. So it'll be Moises Hernandez, native of Dallas, Texas. Of course, spent a little bit of time over at Costa Rican champs, or the reigning Costa Rican champs, I should say, Saprissa.
Played in last year's CONCACAF Gold Cup for the Guatemala national team.
Yeah, the Guatemalan national team.
Even though he had a an under 20 call up for the United States.
Now OKC looking to break out rather quickly, but again, it's Timo Pitter preventing them from being more vertical. Now it's Energy looking to open out wide. Losing the ball with relative ease as we get into the final 10 minutes of this match. Acosta. But we're starting to see a team here in FC Dallas that really, you start to see the pieces, how they're beginning to fit, how they're going to be working. Another deep ball, crossed, but anticipated rather well. Watch out, don't trip. It's Ryan Hollingshead here on the reset. But again, we see a team that really, the obvious pieces are there. The nucleus is still intact. But it's the supporting cast that you start to see to really give that effort, to really give that bit of work that they need, to really be able to come in and step in at any particular moment. There's a lot of players, at least tonight, that we've seen, Ortiz, that we've seen in Timo Pitter, that fine, he might be trying to make a case to be a starter, but in the event that he doesn't, these types of performances are the type that really give Pareja the confidence to really go to his bench at any time and really start looking at these players as a good option if there's an injury, or even if the team isn't performing at the level that they're supposed to. As the foul, really tough one there. As Janssen starting to feel the physicality.
And it makes
Yellow
it more
card being given.
challenging for Pareja to decide what his final roster is going to be.
But that's still a problem that any coach would want. I mean, if it's because of the quality, because of how they are from top to bottom, because of how good they are, yeah, probably that's a good thing for Oscar Pareja. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, but do you see? I mean, as far as the depth is concerned, I guess we could really start seeing how important that is.
It's starting to come together, absolutely.
Another set piece, just diving, crashing in there was Janssen. Now this is the position where FC Dallas is dangerous when the defense was wrong-footed, but Janssen committing the foul to really prevent that from happening. In some cases, you could probably say it's a smart foul that he committed, because a couple of times that we've seen that, FC Dallas really went on the attack and really caused some danger on the opposite side. Acosta dumping it. Hara has to give chase, but check that. That was Hernandez that really had to give chase. '83rd minute, and FC Dallas still ahead, 2-1. Gonzalez just driving, trying to plow his way through. Unsuccessfully, didn't have anyone that he really could associate with, and now off to the races on the opposite side. Bonner looking to give chase. Frimpong trying to keep that ball alive, and does after it goes off to Hollingshead, and OKC Energy with the throw-in at this point, and some appreciation being given there by the local fans.
We talked about Dallas's roster coming together, who Pareja is going to select. He's not going to have much time The season opener is about a week away, March 6th, against Philadelphia Union.
But it's not just Philadelphia Union. If you really start looking at overall what this team's going to go through, I mean, you start looking at teams within that first 6 weeks of the MLS season. This Dallas side is going to be facing not only some of the best teams within the conference, but they're also going to be facing the reigning MLS runner-up and also the team that ended up winning the title last year in the Portland Timbers. So it's not a very easy schedule. Yeah, you do see Philadelphia, you see other teams there, but overall it's a pretty balanced schedule where you have a couple of teams where they could come out on top, but you do see some teams that will give them a definite run for their money and maybe possibly even come up in a situation where they might not even be favorites to come in and get the points in those particular encounters.
Well, surely you'll have some very difficult rivals to deal with, but you got to think that Pareja, though, is really thinking about that first game before he looks a little further ahead of that schedule and sees those opponents. He's most likely just really focusing on that regular season opener next week.
And on top of that, you talk about them playing Philadelphia, but they also head to Houston. They'll come back home on March 19th, play Montreal. We'll see how that Montreal side ends up playing out. Obviously, there was a lot of talk of Didier Drogba retiring. He's now back, so we'll see how that plays out. DC United at RFK, Columbus, San Jose, and then obviously Portland on the 13th. The foul that gets called there. All much ado about nothing. But just by me giving you those names, those teams, you know it's not a very easy schedule.
Absolutely not.
For FC Dallas to start the season. So it's very important, vital for them to really get off on the right foot in this campaign. Larendi sending it deep. Final 4 minutes of this match. A second half that's gone by fast, but at the same time, really not many opportunities have come through. Here's Timo Pitter. To me, one of the more intriguing players. The header that goes through. But obviously a great bit of work there as Hara coming through. Didn't come out in too clean on the ball. Was not able to hit it right, but give a lot of credit to Timo Pitter. Scoring
Absolutely.
a goal, doing some great work. You saw that cross. That's just one of many opportunities that he's really been a major contributor tonight.
He knows how to read this game in particular. He understands where he has his spaces. He's got a chance here for energy. Recovered well by Aaron Guillen, but Pitter just really showing his ability to just take control.
And speaking of Pitter running down the right.
Accurate passes, and there he is again. Looking for his
Hollingshead.
teammate, sharing the ball, creating opportunities. It's a well-rounded effort.
Hollingshead forcing the corner kick. At this point, FC Dallas just looking to try and keep that ball on this end of the pitch. But overall, it's been a successful evening as far as the attendance, as far as the overall environment. Complete success for OKC Energy as they get ready for their opener just about 3 weeks plus away. Guillen. Drop back as Pitter. Ball being sent in again. The header and the foul being called there. But overall, the analysis, as it's
Kalen
Kalen
Ryden,
Ryden, yes. Got hit in the back of the head there on the challenge.
Yeah,
but-
got knocked
But
around,
overall,
but
your analysis,
gets back up.
let me see what you've seen so far this match. What do you see as if we're in the final 2 minutes plus whatever stoppage time is given by the referee?
from what team? Both sides?
Go ahead, both sides, man. I mean,
Yeah, you gotta like what FC Dallas did in the first half. I mean, coming out strong early on, getting a 2-goal lead, getting their offense going. Perhaps the one thing I'd probably count as a negative is the way that they got comfortable. Because you can get comfortable, but if you allow that to make you lose focus, that's where the mistakes come. That's where OKC Energy got their goal in the first half. But overall, it's a good performance to build on. going into next week of training. Obviously, right before that season opener is a chance here for FC Dallas.
Hara pushing, plowing, looking, finding, and finally hitting the ground after he gets touched by Lorendi. As the urgency for them to try and equalize, at least go home saying, hey, you know what? We drew against the affiliate team, or the team that we're affiliated to, I should say.
A couple of other positives, Juan Ortiz, Timo Pitter, obviously did well in that midfield line, solid midfield line for FC Dallas. As far as OKC Energy, you don't want to start a game the way they did tonight. Looks like they were just, never really came out of the locker room those first 10, 15 minutes. But then they got it going. They got a little bit more physical. They found a little bit more focus. They got the ball going. They found their game on the flanks. I think that's where their strong points are. Didn't really get back to that as much. Not much consistency on that end in the second half, but they have the talent to do it. They got to get, obviously, Danny Koenig more involved. That's going to come with more minutes, more playing time, more games. It's obvious that he's their most important player. But you want to work on those moments where they lose focus, they lose concentration, as they did in those opening 10, 15 minutes of the match.
See right there, 2 minutes of stoppage time being given. Hedrick. Zimmerman drops it back to Chris Seitz.
You gotta like the OKC Energy's ability to get numbers on you when they do have possession with those players on the flanks, whether it's Ryden or Dalgard or Michael Thomas or Frimpong. When they try to get numbers on you in your own territory, that's when they get dangerous. You want to see some more smoother touches though when they do have those numbers.
Yeah, you do see when they pressure, you see them being a completely different team compared to when they don't. When they do offer too many spaces, when they have too many spaces, that's the big issue with them, that they really get carved up, that you don't have the same spacing or the same timing in the back. Obviously, as you mentioned before, something that really comes with getting minutes, getting practices, getting to know each other, or actually getting back into the swing of things, that will start coming back to them. But overall, good performance by FC Dallas. Still a work in progress for OKC Energy, and a lot of positives to look at.
And they have plenty of time to work on that stuff. I mean, their regular season opener is March 26th against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. I mean, they got a full month, one more month of preseason and training to really work on those issues.
Here comes a chance for the equalizer. Jackson was not able to get to it, but again, you see that they're pushing, sometimes a little bit more skillful than other times, but Hara, being the attacker here, didn't have much time to create, and that's the end of the match. FC Dallas by Atiba Harris, and then the other by Timo Pitter. That goal by Pitter, the difference in this encounter. OKC Energy scoring on an own goal by Zach Lloyd, but really showed quite a few positive things leading up to the regular season. Still lots of time, as you mentioned before, Mike. It's going to be a very interesting USL season for OKC Energy, seeing how they are able to start gelling, to see how they come through, and obviously to see how they are able to fight for an opportunity to be one of those teams in the conversation for the league title.
And last season they were one of the highest scoring teams in USL. And they got to get that mojo back. They got to find that offense that made them that got them through the deep rounds of the playoffs last season. They got to get that back, but that comes with some time. Just check out the highlights from this game.
As we mentioned at halftime, and you mentioned it quite a few times in the broadcast, it was OKC Energy really not being able to find their way early on. This was one of the things you see, 6 defenders around Akindele, and he's able to still find the open man.
It's a good
Atiba
heads-up
Harris
play.
comes through.
It's a good heads-up play by Akindele, and this is a wonder goal here. I mean, gotta love the way they set this up. The dummy play by Bonner and Timo Pitter just curling it past the keeper. Wonderful goal.
Exactly, but I guess it was kind of a wake-up call because you started to see OKC come through, and finally, after a couple of opportunities, obviously you do see Biscoff coming through, putting that ball. He was intended for Koenig, but you see Zach Lloyd in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the ball goes into the back of the net. Ends up being 2-1. Rosales was a key factor tonight, so we start to see that FC Dallas really depends on their playmakers. Rosales in this case, but also
Absolutely.
in the case of Fabian Castillo during the regular season.
I mean, it goes without saying that Rosales is going to be their most important player this season.
As you see some of the final highlights, some of the stuff that went on in the second half. So you see what Timo Pitter was able to do. That was very important as well. Any final thoughts, Mike?
FC Dallas has got a lot of talent to work with, and I think they can build from the success that they had last season and carry it over to this season. And as OKC Energy showed tonight, you know, some limitations, but they could also get some success going.
So for Mike Lopez, my name is Juan Arango. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from